be with you today. Just a reminder, tonight is the community meals, one of my favorites, scalloped potatoes and ham. Hope that you can be a part of it, either by coming in and eating with us or helping out. Your presence means a lot to those who come and partake in that meal. Also know that there will not be a meditation next week. This one's going to count for a couple weeks. Just be aware of that as you look at your computer next week. So we continue to be in Luke's travel narrative, where Jesus and the disciples are on their way to Jerusalem, and we're trying to pay attention to what it is that Jesus wants us to stay awake to. Right? Oftentimes, Jesus tells us to stay alert and stay awake, and we're trying to figure out what it is that Jesus wants us to stay awake to. This week we have another parable, and it's a parable that we only find in Luke. It's a parable of a rich man who wore purple, who was living in a gated house, who had everything he could ever want. And then outside of his house was a poor man, and his name is Lazarus. And Lazarus was really out on his luck. Even dogs would come up and lick the sores on his back. And so as Jesus tells it, Lazarus and the rich man both died, passed away. The rich man went down under. Lazarus went above. And then as the rich man is struggling and panting in the world below, he looks above and he sees Lazarus in the arms of Abraham. And he begs Abraham to tell Lazarus to come and take care of him, or he begs Abraham to at least send Lazarus out into the world to tell his brothers, right, what's going to happen. There's a lot of things in this parable. One of the things that's sticking out to me right now is the poor man has a name, Lazarus. The rich man does not. What does that tell us? Well, that tells us that Lazarus is known as a person, and his situation is known, that God is well aware of Lazarus. The rich man without a name tells us that maybe he's not as well known. And so it tells us that God has this great compassion for those who struggle, for those who are lost, left behind, for those who are marginalized, oppressed in this world. God has a lot of compassion. And so I think Jesus is using this parable to tell us to stay awake to those around us who are struggling, who are hurting, who are homeless, who are hungry, who are thirsty. To be aware and do something, because they have a name. They're not just a person living on the street. They have a name. And God knows and God loves them, and God's going to cradle them at some point. So that's our meditation. Are you paying attention to those who are not wearing purple like we are? Those less privileged? And then what do we do about it? We'll see you in a couple weeks.